This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation. Welcome back to a magical episode tonight for you of Bells with Books. I am your host, Miranda, and I will never be alone here unless my co-host is in ghost form. Of course. That is my magical friend, Bianca.
Hello.
That was perfect. So how are you this evening? I know you have not been feeling well, so how are you feeling today?
I feel pretty good today. I had the plague. I made it through. It was only my second time having it.
I've had it once, and I don't have it again.
The first time I had it, I will say, I literally just slept for 3 to 4 days. I could not stay conscious for the life of me. This time, I was at least, awake, and I could, watch TV or briefly play, Dreamlight Valley or something. Yeah. I did not read anything. I was not in the right headspace to read, so sadly, I lost,
Yeah.
Yeah. Sadly, I lost, a week of reading time. I was like, dang it.
Did you do the thing where, so I've only had it once, the once and only time I had it, I literally, would lay there and be like, okay, so this is how I die. I felt that bad. But I did the thing, because everybody kept talking about, oh, you lose your taste and smell, and I was like, whatever. And then I did, and it's, the weirdest thing ever.
The first time I had it, I kept all of my senses.
All of them?
Yeah. This time, I did lose smell.
Okay, but I've lost smell before. I'm sure you have too. When you have a really bad cold or something. Yeah. No, I did. The one time I got it, I lost taste and smell, and everybody talked about how weird it was, and I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then it was the absolute, they are correct, weirdest thing I have ever experienced. Because you're putting the food in your mouth, and you know what it's supposed to taste like, but it literally has no flavor or taste. And my mom's like, oh, like water. And I'm like, no, water didn't even taste like water.
It's nothing. It's
nothing. And it was the most, yeah, I don't like that. It's some Twilight Zone shit, and I'm not here for it.
I still have a little bit of a residual cough.
Yeah.
And a little bit of drainage, but that's pretty much normal for this time of year in the South. So now I'm just basically dealing with allergies.
That's a normal for here too. So I feel like it's just that time of the year period. Yeah. I will say, I feel like when people get sick, the thing that lasts the longest is usually the lingering cough. It's that just stays.
Yeah.
I hate that. But I'm glad you're feeling better.
I am too.
Because the one day you were like, oh God, and we didn't really hear from you. And I was like, is she okay? And I also didn't want to bother you. And then you sent a Marco to me and Susan, and you were like, I sound really bad still. And I'm like, I actually sound great. You sound great.
Well, see, I still think I sound kind of stuffy. I'm still not back to my normal voice. I still feel like my voice is 2 octaves deeper than it normally is.
Because I know you very well, it's a tiny bit deeper, and you sound on some syllables a little nasally, but it's not oh God, it's only because I know you. So I think most people are not even going to notice. But
there was one Marco I sent to, it was another group chat, and they were just talking back and forth between themselves, and I was just in the background, and they were like, Bianca, we see you're here. How are you? And I answered, I was like, hello. They were like, oh my gosh. I was like, I can't talk.
I was sick once, and you were like, Miranda, just stop trying to talk. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be part of the conversation.
Well, since it is December,
yes,
we are going to cover probably an unusual book, but Miranda and I both felt that it encapsulates the Christmas spirit.
I feel like a lot of people feel that way, though. Honestly, when I look around.
Especially the adaptation.
Yes.
We're gonna do Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone / Philosopher's Stone.
Yep.
And because of that, we're not going to go chapter by chapter like we normally do, because I feel like Harry Potter's just kind of in the zeitgeist now. Everyone knows it, basically.
If somebody comes and says, you spoiled it, I'm going to be like, are you kidding me?
This was published in, 2001? When was this published?
Oh, hang on.
Oh, wait, no, 1997.
I was going to say it was way before then, because I remember when the book very first came out, they put like a snippet chapter, maybe not even a whole chapter, of it in Nickelodeon magazine. To get
I forgot about Nickelodeon magazine.
Yeah. They put it in there, and I read it and was like, I must go to the bookstore.
But because we're not gonna really do a quote deep dive, we'll do more like conversational things that since Miranda and I've obviously read it too many times to count, we discovered. Yeah.
We discussed that, trying to like tell you how many times, and we're both like,
But because we're going to do that, we don't have a lot of our other segments. We just got a couple of things to mention. We have book news. Ruth Ware announced that she is going to be writing a sequel to The Woman in Cabin 10, which both Miranda and I thoroughly enjoyed that book. So there's some hype behind that one for us.
I don't know how I feel about, I'm going to be very honest with you. This, when you told me just a few minutes ago, is the first time I somehow missed this book news. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it was closed out well enough.
Well,
I mean, I could see where you could do a sequel, but I don't know.
Well, see, it comes on the heels of the next thing I want to mention is The Woman in Cabin 10 is getting an adaptation, and Keira Knightley is going to be starring in it. So I feel like the movie is going to differ from the book in such a way that it's going to leave it open, and that's going to come followed next.
Like it'll be a tie-in, basically.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it's going to somehow follow book one, but it'll tie in some of the changes they're making in the movie.
That's my running theory.
Which I'm okay with, Kieran. I'm okay. I don't know how you feel. You haven't said yet, but I'm okay with Keira Knightley and The Woman in Cabin 10, because if you remember like how she behaves in the book and stuff, I think Keira Knightley could really do that. I think she could pull it off really well.
I have never seen a movie that I did not like her in, so
I agree.
I have no qualms about that.
She was my husband.
What are you doing? That is my head.
Oh, it's Babe.
She was like on my head.
Welcome to the show, Babe. Please get off your mother's head.
She slept all day, and now she's mad that I'm ignoring her.
I recorded earlier with Andy too, and his cat had like disappeared all day. Like he hadn't seen him all day, and he came in to lay next to the microphone and be like. You can hear him like almost the whole show. It's so funny. And it's like not worth the fight for him to run him away. So
yeah.
Anyway, I'm with you on Keira Knightley. I think she is a really good actress. She's actually my husband's like crush. He refers to her as so, you know, everyone has this group of like, hey, these are my celebrity hall passes, because it's never going to happen for any of us, right? So
she's on the list.
She's on Jerry's list. She's on Jerry's on the list, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is that Keira Knightley is what I call a mouth actor. She acts a lot with her mouth and her teeth.
She doesn't emote like I do. Like if you know me and you know my face doesn't lie, she doesn't do that.
Yeah.
She doesn't do that.
But beyond that, the other thing that we want to mention is that Anne Hathaway has been cast in the adaptation of Verity that's coming to Amazon.
Yes.
I'm personally excited about it. I like Anne Hathaway as an actress. She won my heart in Princess Diaries and has kept it ever since.
I love Princess Diaries, which aren't we getting a new one of those? Am I understanding?
Yes.
And did you read those books? There's a bunch of them. Did you read those?
I read the first one, and it was when the Princess Diaries first came out, like the movie.
Yeah.
And I loved the movie, so I was like, let me pick up the book, and I hated the book.
Really? Well, I read the books before the movie came out, not because I'm like cool or anything. And my grandmother worked for a bookstore. And I read them before that. And I reread the first one multiple times, but I think there was a certain point that I didn't go past, and I don't know why. I don't remember.
I hated it because what's her name? Emilia.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. Mia in the book was so insufferable.
She's a little whiny, yeah.
It was horrible. I was like, she was not like this in the movie. But so that's one of the rare instances.
Younger, I think, in the books than she is in the movie.
Well, they're both supposed to be 16, if I remember correctly.
Maybe. You could be right. It's been a long time.
Now Anne Hathaway was not 16, obviously, when in the movie.
No.
But she was, I just remember her being super insufferable and whiny, and I was just like, I cannot do this.
She is a little whiny. Yeah. I'll give you that.
And then the queen was not, what's her name?
Oh, her grandmother.
What is her name? Mary Poppins.
Well, I know.
I keep wanting to say Judy Garland, and her name is not Judy Garland.
Julie Andrews.
Julie Andrews, thank you.
I thought you meant the character's name, and I was like,
no. So Julie Andrews played a very like demure and put together queen, and in the book, she's just like mean.
She's
like just brash. Straight up mean.
Yeah, she's very like, no, this is how we've always done it. And this is what you're gonna do. And Julie Andrews' character in the movies is like, she learns. It's like she learns a lesson too, basically. Yeah. I think the book that was one of more like real world.
It was one of the rare instances where I loved the movie more than the book.
Okay. So she's going to be in Verity. And so I have to ask you really quick, because I told you I've seen like nothing but controversy about her being in this movie. And that's something I won't bring up. But anyway, I won't go into that. I obviously brought it up, but I'm not going to go into it. But you and I haven't seen who she's supposed to be playing. So we know the options are clearly Lowen or Verity. So which one would you rather her be?
Personally, I want her to be Lowen. I think she would be fantastic as Lowen.
I could see that. Because I'm with you. I'm with what you said before we started recording, which was we all know Verity doesn't do much unless
they play up those back flashes, those flashbacks.
Those probably will. Honestly, I think that's the only way you can do it in movie form is when
Which, is it going to be a movie or series? Now I'm questioning myself.
I think it's a movie.
Verity on Amazon.
I feel like it should be a TV series, though, knowing everything I know. There's just, like, so much that happens in that.
Okay, yeah, it's going to be a movie.
Is it? Well, a series would have been better, even if you, like, told everybody in advance. This is a limited series. It follows a book.
Like, even if it was just, like, 5 episodes. I feel like that would still be better than a movie, because Verity does, like, it goes pretty deep.
When you're reading, and this doesn't spoil anything for anybody that hasn't done Verity yet, but when you're in those manuscript pages, there's a lot going on. And I feel like if you constantly go back to those.
We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm excited it's happening because I will say I think Verity is probably my favorite of the Colleens that I have read.
It's definitely my favorite, and
I
wish she would write more in that vein.
Yes, I agree. But you and I both really like mystery thrillers, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So congratulations, Anne and Kira. I guess we will see how you do. Don't screw this up. Don't screw this up.
We'll have to
port back
when it gets closer. We'll have to do episodes for each of those.
Yeah, especially if there's a sequel now to the Cabin, or if there's going to be, like, if it's out when the movie comes out, maybe we could read it and then discuss.
Yeah.
Because sometimes sequels aren't needed.
Which, that does bring me to something that I wanted to bring up, and I forgot to mention it. So before we started recording, so sorry. But if there is something that our audience wants us to cover that we haven't covered, especially a type of genre, let us know. I know sometimes Miranda and I can kind of pigeonhole ourselves and only do stuff that we enjoy. Besides that one episode where we did He Who Shall Not Be Named. And that horrid book.
Well, and we've also done nonfiction. We've done nonfiction once.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a particular, like, I don't think we've ever covered, like, a science genre, or we haven't done a specific history genre. So if the audience wants us to do that, or maybe like cookbooks, those
I love reading cookbooks. Like,
yeah.
I actually read them. I love
because it's not just recipes. You get stories and history behind the food, depending on.
Depending on, some of them are just straight cookbooks, but a lot of these, especially when they're put out by, I don't really want to say celebrity chefs, but you know what I'm talking about because you also kind of collect cookbooks. Yeah. You know, where they add like the story, like there was the Miranda Lambert one. I checked it out from the library, and it actually had stories in it. There's a new one from like Dolly Parton and her sister that actually.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I really want that one. And then
I think I own all of the Pioneer Woman cookbooks, and hers, because she's also a photographer, she goes into like why she chose certain pictures and what goes into all of that, which I find fascinating.
She was a blogger first. When I first met her, she was a blogger first. A food and life blogger. And so she's good at telling a story. And just side note, since you brought her up, if no one has ever read her actual, like, I guess you'd call it a memoir. It's the book of like basically like how she met Ladd, because she was in like a totally different industry, did not grow up on a farm. Like, I was like,
she was a ballerina, wasn't she?
I think she was in the fashion world too. Okay. And then she fell for a cowboy.
It's like a romance book.
Yeah, well, kinda. But it's done in a way that, like, it also tells you about her life, and it's really interesting. It's called Tractor Wheels. Hang on, I'm gonna try to find this book. Black Heels to Tractor Wheels is what it's called. And
that's a romance novel title.
Yeah, well, it's like actually about her, and she talks about like how she calls him Marlboro Man, which, I mean, if you know, you know. He doesn't smoke or anything, but I mean, if you remember the days of Marlboro Man and what he looked like, it makes sense. But yeah, it was actually a very enjoyable book. It was very interesting to see like what her backstory was, and it talks about her family and like how she grew up, and yeah.
But all of that to say, because our friend Kelly did request a certain episode a few months ago, so we did it for her. She wanted us to do another cozy fantasy.
Yes, she would like another one of those. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone has special requests, we are taking them. We would love your ideas.
Yes, actually, I was told we were supposed to say hello. Andy's girlfriend Ellen says hello, and she still listens to every episode. So Ellen, maybe you have an idea of something we should read or cover too. Like, yeah. I think a lot of readers pigeonhole themselves, though, in all honesty. I don't think it's like we're doing anything like just refusing to read something, but I think everyone that listens to us is a reader. So if most of you are probably like, these are the genres I tend to stick to. Yeah. Yeah.
But we're not opposed to branching out. So.
No, I will branch out. Now, I may not like what I read when I branch out, but I will branch out.
But with that being said, we'll get into what I'll say the meat of our episode. So we're going to do Harry Potter. The first thing I want to bring up is that the whole first chapter is not about Harry Potter.
No.
It's about the Dursleys. And
which it kind of should be.
I just think it's interesting that she started the book not about the main character. I feel like that's not something that is typically done, and I feel like that's what kind of draws people in, because you're like, why am I reading about these very ordinary people who love their ordinary life? Like, what is the point in this?
But you're telling me on the cover it's about some person named Harry Potter.
Yeah. Like the first sentence is, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4, Privet Drive. We're proud to say they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. Like, what a way to start a book series.
Right. I also think it has a lot to do with nothing we're about to get into is normal. Like, it's all very magical and hidden and different. And
it's a strong juxtaposition.
Yes, yes. And which also is foreshadowing for a thing. I mean, it doesn't spoil anything, but I think it's also a heavy foreshadowing because we know how much Petunia and, oh my God, why did I just forget his name? Papa Dursley.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we know how much they hate magic. Like, despise it. So I think it's a great way to like tell you they don't like any of this nonsense that you're about to read. I mean, they don't.
Well, see, and that's another thing is we know why Petunia doesn't like magic. Like we learn it later on in the series. She basically was jealous of her sister and all the attention that her sister got growing up because she had magic. Mm-hmm. But why do you think Mr. Dursley was so anti-magic? Was it just because he was trying to support his wife? Or what happened there?
I think it's a combination. I think it's one, he probably, when him and Petunia were doing their courting and they're falling in love and whatever, he probably had to listen to a lot of stories of how her sister was different and she felt shunned by her sister. And I'm sure there are muggles that are very aware of the wizarding world and they look at it so oddly and they don't want to be looked at as odd because it's mentioned before that like the muggles that know about the wizards don't usually treat them very well. They think they're weird and so I think it's a combination of, you remember they talk, like especially in the book, it talks about how plain he was and how his job was very boring and he liked it that way and he liked the tedious day-to-day like nothingness that was his life. Like I'm not being mean, but I think that's why. I think he's just such a boring person. Honestly, like he wants to work his job and make his bosses happy and move up the ranks, and that with a combination of probably, like I said, what Petunia has confided in him, he's like, yeah, no. Also, Vernon. His name is Vernon. Vernon.
There we go.
I was like, what is his name? It will come to me. Yes. So that's why I think he is so against it, because it's so different. And I think it's kind of like in the real world when people are so terrified of some things that they don't understand or something that's so different from themselves that they're just like, no, I'm not here for that. I don't want that. I don't want that. Which can be, you could use that for a lot of different things, right? So I think that's what it is, honestly.
Well, and it also, I read this years ago, but most of the muggles that are in the Harry Potter world, they're all kind of blech. Like, there's not a good one. Because you have the Dursleys, you have Mr. Filch, and the next door neighbor woman that babysat Harry Potter.
I think a lot of Filch's problem is jealousy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he so badly wanted, not jumping ahead, but like he so badly wanted to have what they have and he just doesn't. And then the aunt, which technically she's part of the Dursley family, but she's like Vernon's sister.
Yeah.
She comes about later, not in this book, but that's another, right, you're right. They're just miserable people. And I think it's really that they're, you know what it is? I think it's like those people that are very set in their ideals and beliefs. And anything outside of that, they just simply can't have like a normal conversation about like, oh, well, this is why I think no or yes. I think that's what it is. I think it's kind of
I just found it fascinating that the normal humans were written that way.
No, it is. It's a very good. And do you think any of us were getting that when we read this as kids? Because I was still a kid when this came out. Well, I mean, yeah, I was a teenager, but I was a kid. And none of us were seeing that. None of us. No. But we all saw how badly they treated him, and we did not like that.
Well, and I think some of this will also is just because you and I have read it so many times that we pick up on stuff. Like I picked up on some stuff that I haven't picked up on previously, and who knows how many times I've read it. So it's just something that the more you're in the world and the more you're familiar with it and you revisit it, you're like, oh, wait, I just noticed that. Oh, I just noticed that.
I think it also has to do with, we've mentioned this before, but like reading a book at a different point in your life, especially a different age. So like you see things differently. I don't remember. We've talked about it a couple of times. There was an episode that you and I did where we specifically talked about like, hey, I reread this. It may have been Practical Magic, actually. Because it was a reread for me. It was the first time for you. And I was saying there were things that took place that I either had blocked out Or I didn't remember because I just wanted to get to the fun magic parts.
Yeah.
So
one certain scene you didn't warn me about.
Because I genuinely forgot. I would have told you. I would have absolutely told you. And when I was rereading it, I went, oh, shit. And then I was going to message you, but it was like, time-wise, it was like you were asleep and I was awake, and I was like, oh my God. And then it was like I got busy and never said anything, and then you messaged me and I was like, oh yeah, hey, about that. But I think that like applies here as well. Is yes, we've read this like 11 billion times, but we're reading it like every time we read it, we're in a different mood, we're in a different age, we're just overall in a different like part of our life. And I think that's why we pick up on things more. Or because I will say I got madder and even like upset with Aunt Petunia more once I became a parent. Not to say that you can't get upset or whatever and not be a parent, but like for me, I got more upset with.
Which that leads me into the next thing I wanted to bring up.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that the Dursleys treated Harry horribly.
Yes.
And it's never truly explained why. My favorite working theory is that since Harry turned out to be one of the Horcruxes, and we saw in Deathly Hallows how wearing that Horcrux wears on you and like drains you, basically.
It's essentially like the ring with Smeagol.
Yeah. So the working theory was that Harry was inadvertently doing that to the Dursleys.
I agree with that theory. I've always felt the same with that one, as to why they were, because because you just talked about how they're talked about heavily in the first chapter, they're not necessarily bad or anything. They're just boring.
Yeah. In the first chapter, you're not getting all the horrible things that they do to everyone else. They're just going about their normal everyday life. And in the first chapter, Vernon notices some weird things that are happening in town, and he just tries to like write it off. And he's just like, oh, wait, magic exists. Let me ask Petunia about this. And he asks Petunia's like, have you talked to your sister? She's like, no, why? So like there's topics that are off limits, but they're not like mean to each other per se. Yeah. They're only mean to Harry.
So apparently it was explained on Pottermore. I didn't know that. Did you know that? I haven't been on Pottermore in years.
I can't say the last time I was on Pottermore.
I haven't been there in so long. It says that in a post on Pottermore, author explains how Vernon and Petunia Dursley met in an office, and Lily Potter's sister drawn to the deliciously normal Vernon. She wanted normal, and she thought her sister, I think she even says it in the movie and the book too, like, she's a freak. Like, so she was even more drawn to Vernon because of his very bland. She probably grew up like you said, she grew up in the household where Lily was praised, and she thought she was like, why is everyone praising her? So I think basically it's jealousy, but it's also that she really does not, for whatever reason, she finds her like completely just I guess.
Well, and one other thing that bugged me is that if you do have this hatred of your nephew or a family member that's living with you, like if you cannot stand them, why would you keep them from going away? Like, Is it just to because you know it would make them happy? Like, are you just out for revenge that badly? Because I guess I can kind of understand that. But if you are so miserable and you don't want this person in your house, like, let them go.
Right.
Maybe I'm too logical for the Dursleys.
I hear what you're saying, because I'm with you. So my thought process on like, because the other thing is like, why take Harry in at all if you dislike your sister that much? And I've always been of the wheelhouse and the theory that she did it because it was like you don't realize what you have until it's gone. And then when she was told her sister was dead, it like was like, oh my God, like I can't, that's my sister. I can't take that back. So they're like, oh, well, her son's not dead. And she was like, Well, I have to. Like, I feel obligated to. I'll raise him to be normal. Everything will be normal, and it's going to be fine. And then, after pretty early on, they probably realized this is not going to be normal. And like you said, he's a Horcrux, so the rest is history.
Granted, I haven't read the rest of the series like I have the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say the reason she took him in, it was explained in the letter that Dumbledore left with Harry.
I think it is. It's much later, but I can't.
There was something in the letter that basically made her do it, and I forget what it was. But I feel like that's something in my brain saying that's correct.
Well, I think there's also a thing with we've read these so many times, and we've also read all the fan theories. It's like, what are we merging?
Yeah. Well, and that leads to this first question. We found some questions online that we thought were really good that we wanted to discuss. So that leads into this one. Why does Dumbledore decide to have Harry grow up with the Dursleys rather than one of the wizard families?
Oh, I absolutely think I know why.
Go ahead.
Well, because they were concerned that Voldemort would come back somehow, right? They all were like, that seemed too easy. I don't know about this. And obviously, if he grew up in the wizarding world, two things would happen. One, he would never be left alone, right? Because you saw what happened the minute he finally goes into their world and everybody's like, oh my God, you're him, right? So I think it was a safety precaution. Put him somewhere where they kind of like witness protection, essentially. Like, if he's here, then no one will ever look for him here. And there are only 3 people that know where he is, absolutely. And that was McGonagall, Dumbledore, and Hagrid. And you think either any of them are talking?
No.
Exactly. I mean, there were other people that probably knew absolutely he was alive. Like, Snape and some others knew he was alive. But they probably didn't know where he was for sure. And I think it was really boils down to a protection thing, 100%.
Okay. I'm on board with that.
The only problem I have with that, which I that's what I think. But my thing is they checked up on him throughout his life. I think that's mentioned somewhere. Again, maybe I'm making that up. But I'm pretty sure that they kind of like check up on him or have ways to check up on him, and they knew he was being treated horribly. So like, why didn't they do something sooner? Did they feel like
they had the neighbor lady?
Yeah, but nothing was done. Nothing was really done. You see what I'm saying? Like, the Dursleys continued to treat him bad.
Yeah, I'm saying the neighbor, whatever her name was, she was like their informant, basically like, hey,
yeah,
Harry's alive.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, they all checked in on him, right? But no one ever stopped the way he was being treated.
That's what, it wasn't until the second book, or is it this book? I don't remember. No, it's this book, where he moves out of the cupboard and moves into a room, and it's because, I think it's Hagrid, if I remember correctly. Hagrid is like, he's going to live in a room. Because Dudley has to give up his gaming room, basically.
It's after the first set of letters start coming in, because I think something...
is that it?
Hang on, yeah. Which, do you remember how many kids, after they read that, or especially after the first movie came out, were like, I want a Harry Potter closet?
Let's see. Around page 40-ish.
Yeah.
I think. Because
it's when they saw the letter addressed to him in the cupboard.
Yeah, that's
so it was when the letters started coming, and one of them, it says to the cupboard under the stairs, and they were like, that freaked them out. They were like, shit, we're being watched, essentially. And so that's when they decided to move him to the room. And you're right, it was like Dudley's gaming room.
Yeah.
Which, my kid has a gaming room, but if I had a second child or took in someone's child, he would give up his gaming room the day they moved in. But I'm a rational person.
You can't do that, Miranda.
I guess not.
Another one of the questions that I liked was, why does it take so long for Harry's wand to choose him? Which I thought that was interesting. I never thought about it taking so long for Harry to find the wand, or for the wand to find Harry, because he goes through several, and the shop, Ollivander is kind of perplexed. He's like, it normally doesn't take this long,
because basically the shop ends up destroyed.
Yeah.
So I hadn't really thought of that before, but as you were reading it, I instantly thought of him being unsure of himself and who he is.
That's true. Because he's just plunged into this new world.
Yeah, and he doesn't really know. And he knows he's been different because obviously the thing that happened at like the zoo, and they mentioned a few other things that had happened weird, and then the letters, and obviously Dudley's piggy tail that Hagrid did. So like he believes this stuff, but he's probably very unsure of who he is and where he came from, because remember, he still thinks his parents died in a car crash.
Yeah, he doesn't even know how they actually died yet.
Right, so he doesn't fully know everything yet. So, and I'd imagine he's 11, like literally just turned 11. I mean, think of how unsure of you were of yourself at 11.
I'm unsure of myself now.
Same, but it was worse when I was 11 and tallest kid in the class. Yeah. So that's the first thing that came to my mind when you read that question, but I've never thought about it before. But I think it's the uncertainty of, just being a prepubescent boy that just got told your whole life's a lie.
Which there is a whole wand lore in Harry Potter that I really don't want to dive into because it kind of hurts my brain. But my thing is, if they were so spooked, like they being all wizards, if they were so spooked by Voldemort and were so afraid to even say his name, if Ollivander knew that there was a twin wand, why didn't he destroy it? If you're like so afraid to say someone's name,
maybe you're hoping that someone will be able to control the wand and take him out and take it out, like and be able to use it against that person. I'm with you though. I would be like, destroy anything, because my fear would be, well, what if old Voldy like has to get a new wand, which usually is unheard of, but like, what if you have to get a new wand and he comes after this one? But my logical, rational adult brain says he kept it thinking maybe someone will be powerful enough to wield this. But at the same time, it's like, does the wand really...
I was like, if the wand chooses the wizard, like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know. I was like, does the wand really make the wizard, or does the wizard make the wand?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. I don't know. What do you think? Or you really don't know?
Like I said, the wand lore kind of hurts my brain because you don't really get it till the last book.
Yeah.
When they're basically interrogating Ollivander, trying to get answers, and he goes on this whole spiel about wands, and I'm like, I could have read this in book like 2 or 3. Why are we waiting until the end for this?
I do agree with you, but I think there's a reason why, and maybe she didn't know herself yet. All of that when she.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
It's all complicated.
It is really complicated.
Let's see. One thing that I kind of did like, I've always liked this aspect of it, is their friendship with Hermione is not instantaneous.
No, it's not. They actually kind of like make fun of her, and she's described as like very mousy. The way they describe her hair, I'm now thinking she was supposed to be like a curly hair girl that doesn't understand how to take care of her curly hair.
Yes.
And she's a know-it-all. So she's like a teacher's pet. Like, and they're 11. Again, were you the teacher's pet at 11? Or do you remember the teacher's pet? Because they were annoying. They were like, everything is black and white. There are rules, like very bossy. And then I think a lot of the reason she behaves the way she does is, again, she is, as much as they tell you she's very sure of who she is, I don't think she is sure of who she is.
Because she's also figuring herself out, because she is I'll use the quote slur that they use in the books. She's a mudblood, meaning that she is she comes from the human world. She wasn't raised a wizard. She just happens to have powers.
Which would happen. Sometimes muggles would have children that...
That's how Lily was.
Yeah. Well, technically.
But I kind of liked that aspect, that they were not instantaneous friends like Harry and Ron were. They basically just sat in the train car together and were like, okay, we're besties now. Well,
and honestly, like, Ron gets excited and is like, oh my God, you're him. You have the scar, and he shows it and he's like, bloody hell. You know, like, he gets all excited. But then he, like, just moves right on. And he's like, okay. Where other people were like
gawking at him.
Yeah, this kid sits down and is like, oh, cool. And then a trolley cart comes by and he basically is like, yeah, I'm going to take everything. And Ron's like, yeah, you're my friend.
But I liked that they had to build that relationship. They basically had to fight for their lives. And I guess when you fight for your life against a huge troll, you're kind of bonded for life after that.
Ooh, bogeys. Which is one of the differences. So this time on the reread, I did the Philosopher's Stone. Because I'm still getting some donations for the library that I'm working on here in the village. And I had purchased the entire collection to add to the library, and it's UK editions, because that's basically what we get over here is English UK. But I never actually read the Philosopher's Stone. I'd only ever read the Sorcerer's Stone. So on Audible, it has a totally different narrator, and it has different wording. So, like, bogeys, you know, is boogers, and it's actually changed. Like, in the American version, it says booger.
Does it?
Hang on, let me go. Yeah, it was on the list.
You got me questioning myself.
No, it was on the list. I looked at it a bit earlier. Bogey flavored or booger flavored. Yeah. Bogey flavored on page 78 when they're at the trolley cart, which I call it trolley cart. It's technically cart in America and trolley in the UK. But he says bogey flavored, which flavored is also spelled different. And then booger flavored.
Yeah, on page 177 when they're fighting the troll, Harry bends down and he says, troll boogers.
Yeah. And so 170. I don't think they bring up the booger again, so I don't have the one for page 177. I have the on page 104 in the this is the US edition. On page 104, it's booger flavored. There were some of these though that just didn't make sense. Like, but I see where some of them do. Like, we say sweater, they say jumper.
Yeah.
We say bangs, they say fringe.
Yeah.
Motorway, highway, packet of crisps, bag of chips.
Which I feel like highway is more of a southern thing, because I feel like I've heard a lot of northerners say motorway.
It's very possible, but there are some roads in America that all across America, it's literally called highway whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Dressing gown, bathrobe. You know, a lot of times they say hat, which some of these are like, duh. Football, soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jacket potato, baked potato.
Which that was another thing that bugged me. There's a scene where I forget what student, but he is obsessed with, I'll say, soccer. And Ron has no idea. Like, their wizards are so far removed that they don't even know very popular sports.
Well, I think it's with his family specifically. It's kind of like how the Dursleys have tunnel vision too. Here's what it is. The Dursleys and the Weasleys are basically polar opposites of each other. Think about it.
Yes, they are.
Like,
yeah.
Totally. The Dursleys are miserable, very normal, like almost beige people, right? Like, I don't know how else to describe them. They're beige. They're normal. They want boring. And then you've got the Weasley, and they never leave the Muggle world, right? They don't want anything to do with anything that is not directly in their little bubble. The Weasleys are the other. Now, they're fascinated with the Muggle world. However, they have created this bubble where they're like, the Muggle world is not safe, so we must stay here. The mother, Molly is extremely loving and caring, where Petunia is not. They're very colorful. They're very loud and charismatic, and I think that was done on. I've never thought about that till now, but I really do think that's why they're so like fat. You remember, because at one point he's fascinated by like a rubber duck.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, what do you do with it, my boy? And he's like, it's just like a rubber ducky. But I think it's because they've created this bubble of protection for themselves in the in the wizarding world. And that's a good point. And I've never thought about that. And now they're created to be the polar opposites of each other.
That is true. I'd never thought about it that way either.
He finds family in them, essentially. And he realizes that his family is not his family.
Yeah.
Oh my God, mind blown. Okay.
Another question I see here that I want to dive into.
Okay.
Why do you think Professor Snape dislikes Harry so much?
Jealousy.
Okay.
I think a lot of this comes down to jealousy. He wanted to be with Lily so badly. He loved her. Was it stalkerish? Yes. But Lily was the only person that ever showed him any care and concern. Like when he was being bullied and growing up in school, Lily was the only person that ever saw him, essentially, and he fell in love with her. Whether it was weird and not reciprocated, he was totally would have bent over backwards and done whatever Lily asked him to do. And she fell in love with James. And he didn't get that. And so when he looks at Harry, he just gets reminded of how James took her.
Yeah, because he's the spitting image of
absolutely.
James, just with Lily's eyes.
Which Petunia says that too, and it makes Petunia angry because she hated James. Because James drew her sister further into the freak world, as she claimed.
Yeah.
But I think that's why. I think a lot of things in this book go back to jealousy. It's not so much jealousy of Harry. It's when he looks at him, he sees James, and it reminds him all over again that he never got a chance with Lily because James was there. But I think in the same sense, he would defend, even in a very weird way, because he can't show it, he would defend Harry to the end of the world because he loved Lily.
Okay. Which that also brings up one other thing. While I cannot imagine anybody else in the adaptation ever playing Snape.
Oh, never.
He was absolutely perfect.
Yes.
They're all old. All of these characters, like when they're supposed to have, I think they had Harry when they were like 20 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
So even if Harry goes to school when he's 11, that should put Snape around age like 21 plus 11, 33-ish.
33.
32, yeah. 33. Alan Rickman was like pushing 60 at the time.
He didn't look it, though. I mean, we knew that, but...
Well, I just feel like all of those characters were portrayed older than they should have been, and that's always bugged me a little bit.
I don't think Dumbledore or McGonagall were. I think they were on par.
Yeah. They were supposed to be.
So Lily was 21, and Harry would have barely been a year old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she would have been 32. And you know what? They never say that, and it still would have They never said how much older Snape is, because I don't know, were they in the same class? Or I don't remember if they were actually the same grade level.
Well, they were supposed to be around the same age, though, is what I'm getting at. Like, they still wouldn't have had like a 10-year age difference.
No, not a 10-year, but I mean, he could be, older.
Well, no, because I think they were supposed to be in the same class, because they were together the whole time.
That's true.
At Hogwarts.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. At the same time, though, like, to me, when I read anything Snape, I just see Alan Rickman. I can't see anyone else. Like, I really can't. So, but I do understand what you're saying.
Because I'm speaking as a 33-year-old, so I would be the age that these people should have been. And I'm looking at Lupin, and I'm like, you look so much older than me.
But, okay, I have a theory on this, and it's not just this movie, okay? There's this whole thing about, like, movies from when we were kids, or when I was a kid and you were about to be, that, have you ever noticed the parents look so much older in movies made in like the 80s and 90s? And this one comes in the early 2000s, but still, like, the parents in that, even if you look at like movies like another really big one when I was in high school was like American Pie, or like the television shows like Family Matters and all that, the parents were so old and they were in their 30s. But have you noticed now, our generation, we don't look that old. But also, if you look at photos, like real life people, like our parents and their friends when they were in the 30s and 40s, and you're like, you guys look really old. What is happening? And then, like, they're saying our age range, quote, millennials, we don't look that old in our 30s and 40s. Because, I mean, I'll be 40 here in a couple months. And
you don't look it.
Oh, actually, on the Gnome TikTok, did you see where some guy goes, I guess I just don't understand your tone because I don't get Gen Z. And I was like, I am flattered. Sir, I looked at your TikTok page and I guarantee you I am older than you. I'm like elder emo millennial age. That's how old I am. But anyway, there's this whole shift where they're saying, like, so they all looked old, right? So this movie in real life, our age, we do not look like we're in our 30s and 40s. But then they're saying that the kids, the millennials, or the generation down from us, they look old already.
You know what? That is true. I have noticed. Like, I don't know what that generation is doing.
I don't either.
Because the one specific thing that comes to mind is Jordan on TikTok.
I was about to say his name, yes, where he's like, I'm not old. I'm not your age.
I want to say he's like 24, 25. The man looks like he's in his late 30s.
I thought he was closer to my age. I am not going to lie. No offense, Jordan. He is a nice looking man. But I thought he was closer to my age. Like maybe between you and I.
Yeah.
Somewhere. I really did.
When I learned that I was almost 10 years older than him, I was like, excuse me?
Man, when I learned I could kind of be his mama, I was like, what? What?
Okay, anyway, side tangent.
But that's why I think, so you're asking why are they all so old? That's just my personal theory, and I think it has a lot to do with, for whatever reason, during that time, all of the adults looked so much older than they were. Because that's like the lady that plays Aunt Petunia. She actually was not as old as she looks. Like, that gets brought up sometimes. They're like, wait, how old was she?
I'm going to look it up now.
Yeah.
Aunt Petunia Harry Potter movie.
And then I'm sorry, but anytime you get a flashback of Lily and James, they do not look 21.
No, and that's the thing. They look like
they look like the age they should. Well, they actually look older than that. They look like they'd be like 40.
Yeah. And I'm like, if they're supposed to be portraying them like when they died, they'd be like 20, 21, 22, early 20s.
Right.
That's another thing that's always.
But I think again that those people genuinely looked older. Like
Fiona Shaw. She was born in 1958. Where's my phone? We're going to do that.
Hang on. Okay, so 58.
The 2001 minus 1958.
Well, this movie came out in 2001, so they probably shot it in 2000.
Yeah, but see, she was still 40-ish. Yeah.
She's 40. Yes. She's 2 years older than me, and look at her.
Yeah.
She looked like she's 50-something, 60-something.
But still, she
My mom
shouldn't...
is 60 and looks younger than that.
But she still shouldn't have been that old, according to the book.
But I'm saying it just goes back to my theory of, for whatever reason, adults during that time period, and even the actors, in that they looked old. They just looked older than they were. Thank God it skipped us, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, another thing that I did not get until just a couple of weeks ago when I was like looking up stuff to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew, maybe this is just me having a Bianca moment, but the Mirror of Erised, I never knew where that came from, like the name, the Mirror of Erised.
You call it Erised?
Well, it's desire backwards.
I know, but I always called it Erised.
Why?
I don't know. You know what? Because I think the audiobook says Erised.
In the movie, it's Erised.
But yes, I did know it was desire backwards.
But it's backwards, like mirrored.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I don't think I got it
initially either. But yes, I did know it was desire flipped.
How did you pronounce it?
Erised. And I'm usually the one that tells you how to pronounce shit.
In the movie, they say Erised.
Well, I've been so long since I watched the movie.
I was going by what they say in the movie.
How to pronounce... I'm not joking. How Miranda said it. How to say. Here we go. Oh.
Is it working?
Yeah. Oh, he just keeps saying stay tuned to the channel. Okay.
Oh, are you on YouTube?
Uh-huh. Erised!
Okay, well, in the movie, they say Erised.
Okay. So,
and if you go phonetically with the English language, that...
No, you're not weird. I get it. But I was like, you mean Erised? And you're like, what? So, you know what, though? It could both be right. Because, again, the guy that just told me how to say it had a British accent. Anyway, okay, yeah, the mirror. Mm-hmm. I should snip this and for TikTok and be like, how do you say it, TikTok? And watch everybody be like, what is wrong with you? I'd be like, trust me, I don't know. But I have a question for you with the mirror. What do you think? Because it says, I show you not your face, but your heart's desire. So, what do you think your heart's desire would be if you looked in the mirror? Does not dwell on dreams and forget to live.
Yeah.
For
me, this is going to get real deep, y'all.
No, this is a question I've genuinely always thought of, like, for a long time.
I think it would, because I'm a very type A person. I've never been diagnosed with anything, but I'm pretty sure, like, I have anxiety, and I'm a very much a people pleaser type person.
You don't say.
So I think for me, it would probably show contentment. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like I'm always chasing something, like, to either please those around me or, like, I'm always trying to fix things and make them better. So I think for me, it would show me somehow being content.
Welcome to oldest daughter syndrome.
Only daughter syndrome.
Well, yes, but you are also the oldest.
Yes, that is true.
So, Anyway, no, I could see that. I could see that. I think mine would be kind of in the same vein of, because, I do have actual diagnoses, and I grew up just always being labeled like quirky, talkative, old soul, and I think my desire would be for people to actually understand me. Again, that's deep. I know. But I think, genuinely, I've thought about this for a lot of years, and I think when I first read it, I was like, haha, my desire would be this. But no, like, I think on a deep, truthful level, I think my heart's desire would be to be understood, because I know a lot of times I'm not. People are like, what? That's just crazy Miranda. So, yeah.
Now, how it would show me being content or something, I have no idea.
Well, I think it would give you, kind of like how Ron saw himself, like, winning and, like, in this victorious moment. I think it would be a moment where, as you watched it, you yourself, because you know yourself, would understand that you are content or in my case, understood. Like, I think you would have some sort of vision play out on the mirror that showed you, okay, I'm getting what I desire, essentially.
Okay. You should make a TikTok about this.
Am I going to remember this tomorrow?
What would the mirror show you?
That's a good one. That's a good one. And to do the I'll go first. Get real deep up in that TikTok. I mean, since I'm talking about gnomes, maybe it's time for me to get serious.
Another thing that I've always enjoyed is that the names, they're very purposeful.
Yes.
My favorite has always been Professor Quirrell.
Mm-hmm.
Because I relate Quirrell to squirrel, and he's very squirrely.
I also relate it to the fact when you say it, it's like almost like quarrel, like, and he does argue with himself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what I've always thought.
But he's always antsy and being very squirrely and like moving around and being jittery. Which, do they have squirrels in England, or is that just an American animal?
No. So there are squirrels in other parts of the world, but in some, like for us here, we'd have very little because they're actually going extinct.
Well, I asked because I've had a couple of exchange students from other countries, and they had never seen squirrels before. So they came to America, and they're like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's a squirrel."
It looks like where were your exchange students from? Do you remember?
One was Egypt.
Okay, yeah, no, there's no squirrels.
And then it was a certain part of India.
Yeah, probably no squirrels. But I know here, like in like Germany, Slovakia, like this whole like part of, there are only a couple of breeds of squirrel, and you don't see, like, I've traipsed all through multiple different like woods, like full on, like I'm in the mountains woods, and I've never seen a squirrel. And so Caden actually got concerned about this because he's like, where are the squirrels? Like asking, like, I don't know if you ever saw that movie where they're like, where does the poo go?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a movie where I can't remember. I think it's like Ben Stiller, Jack Black. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up again. But essentially, they create this spray that it's like a vapo poo, and you can spray it on like dog poo and horse poo, and it's supposed to make it disappear and makes your life better. And they get rich. And so, but at some point, somebody starts questioning, like, so where does the poo go? So Caden was like that with the squirrels. He's like, but where are the squirrels? And that's when we Googled and we learned that they're extinct here.
Okay.
But apparently, yes, they have squirrels in the UK, and I thought they did, but they are usually in specific areas of the UK.
Okay. Well, I just thought it was interesting that if I was relating it to squirrel and they don't even have squirrels over there, I was like, wait. Something's not right here.
No, I think it still works because he's got, like, squirrely behavior is still a phrase,
Yeah, that's true. Another one of my favorite names is Severus Snape. It's got. And here I thought we were going to get through the whole episode without bringing that up.
Nope. Dumbledore. Crazy. Sorry. Okay.
But it's the S's. Yes. It evokes a certain sound when you say it.
Which I think was on purpose because he's a
Yes, it's definitely on purpose. He is slithery like a snake.
But you are a Slytherin.
I am.
Have you ever done the hybrid? See, because they say it's talked about like I think you and Susan and I have talked about this in Marco's. Somebody better never accidentally get a hold of our Marco's because sometimes they're unhinged. But I can't remember. But they say it many times throughout the book series about how you're never truly one house. Like occasionally there's that person where like the hat doesn't even have to touch their head. They're like, no, you're a Hufflepuff or you're this. But they say you're never truly one house, and that's why the hat takes so long with Harry, because he's like, dang, he really could go anywhere. So have you ever done the hybrid test to find out what your twin house is, essentially?
I have not, but if I had to self-diagnose, it would probably be Hufflepuff.
Really? I would self-diagnose you as a Ravenclaw.
I'm definitely not Gryffindor. I am the anti-brave, whatever that is. I'm not brave, y'all. And while I do enjoy like academics, so I could, I guess, see myself being Ravenclaw because of my academic excellence, for lack of a better word. I don't know. Hufflepuffs are just like chill and laid back, and
but they're the ones I'm most scared of.
Why?
Straight up, because a Hufflepuff will kill you and bury you quicker than any Slytherin ever would.
See, that's why I think I'm part Hufflepuff, because a lot of times, like you can see in our group chats, a lot of times I just sit there and don't say anything, and I'm just silently observing.
You do that on TikTok too.
I think that's the Hufflepuff part of me.
Caden's a Hufflepuff.
Brad's a Hufflepuff.
Caden was so angry when he became a Hufflepuff, which he was sorted as a Hufflepuff like a long time ago. So I'd be curious now that he's like, I don't want to say
full-fledged person.
Yeah, person. I it was killing me to use the word full-fledged adult. That just made my stomach go.
Now that he's like come into himself.
Yeah, like he is sure of who he is. Like he is who he is, right? So I'd be interested to see, but I am a Slitherclaw.
I can see that.
I am a Slitherclaw. Because listen, don't come for me. Like, everybody's like, you're a Pisces, you're so sweet. And I was like, yeah, and we hold grudges. But Hufflepuffs, have you ever seen that girl that does TikToks where she plays like the different ones? And her Hufflepuff is my favorite. Where it's like, they say they need help with something, and the Hufflepuff is like straight on to like grab the shovel and be like, who are we burying? And they were like, that's not what we meant. I also think too many people associate Hufflepuffs with like, and see, I think that's the other thing, people get confused because like Hermione is very studious and academic, but she's a Gryffindor.
Yeah. And
then people forget, everybody thinks that Luna would behave like, behavior of Hufflepuff is often described as what Luna would be. And then a lot of people are also like, Luna was a Gryffindor. No, she was not. She's a Ravenclaw.
Was she?
Yes, she is.
Oh.
It's just she's very supportive of her friends. So when she shows up with like wearing the lion mane and everything to the Quidditch match, it's just because she wants to support her friends. She's a Ravenclaw.
Okay. Interesting.
So I think that's also an interesting take on like what would you really be, because when you're looking at some of these characters that she has put into the book, like you would think for sure that they would be in a different house than they're actually in. So it's like, it makes me question everything.
But on the flip side, the people that aren't like they're not that dimensional, they're kind of flat characters, they're all in Slytherin.
That's very true. But I think they so badly want you to hate the Slytherins.
Yeah.
And I
guess.
There's part of me that can't, right? Because I think, for example, some of these Slytherins, like, their parents at home kind of treat them the way that the Dursleys treat Harry.
Very much so.
And then some of them are staunch followers of Voldy. So
I think the only one that which we don't know till the end, or near the end of the series, I guess, is Snape. He's a Slytherin, and we don't, like, to us, he's a very flat character in the first 3 or 4 books, and it's not till we get to Half-Blood Prince that we start seeing more of Snape's story.
Which a lot of people think Draco's just a bully as well. Like, he's just the bully, and he's really not. Like, he actually is more important than some people want to think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll just do a couple more.
Yeah.
Professor Quirrell tells Harry, there is no good or evil, there is only power, and those too weak to seek it.
Oh, I loved this question.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of truth in this statement.
I think there are good deeds and good thoughts and evil thoughts.
I do agree.
But I don't think there's...
But I also think that good and evil resides in everyone.
Yes.
And I think there are things that come up in your life that make you choose, and maybe you've always been a very good person and then you choose an evil action, so to speak. And I think some people choose evil because they see it will give them power. And power gets you a lot of places. I mean, even in like small settings, right? Like if you have more power over the other people in your friend group, right? Or if you are in politics and you hold this amount of power over other people, you can get your way, right? Like it falls into a bunch of different categories. So I do think that there's good and evil in everyone. There are good thoughts and bad thoughts. There are good deeds and bad deeds. But I also think that this statement is pretty powerful in the fact that power, what's the phrase? I know you know what I'm trying to say. There's another phrase from a different, power corrupts.
Oh, I thought you were going Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
I mean, well, no, that is actually a very good phrase as well. But this one is, no, I don't want your ad. Close. Power corrupts. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That one's always a mouthful for me, and I have to bring it up. It's a quotation. It's from a historian and moralist who brought this up in like the 1880s. It's a very well-known phrase, and I think it could apply to the question you're asking, because while I do think, yes, there's good and evil, I think there's some caveats to that, and I think one of them is power, and how does it affect the person, and how does it influence the person. And some people, I don't necessarily think I use the phrase weak, but would just decide, I don't want what am I trying to say? Maybe they could obtain the power, but they either don't have, they're meek, like not being rude, but like maybe they're just people that they can't speak up for themselves to claim the power.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that they will walk all over someone to get the power. And that's where it really does kind of mess with the chain of good and evil.
Yeah. Well, because it also depends on perception.
Absolutely, sure.
To go back to Snape, for the most of the series, we all believe that Snape is a villain.
Well, you're led to believe that too. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you're almost, for him and Draco both, I think you're pushed to not want to like them. I think you're pushed to just identify them as evil.
Yeah. But if you look at it from Snape's point of view, his whole life has been kind of cruddy. Yeah. And he's basically just doing what he needs to survive. Mm-hmm. So to him, all of his actions are warranted, / he's been told to do something by Dumbledore. But in the eyes of other people, it's seen as evil.
I've always felt bad for him because I feel like while he willingly agreed to do what he did, is or did, whatever. Because essentially he's a spy.
Yeah.
He's a spy. While he agreed to it, I feel like he did it again. This goes back to his love for Lily.
Yeah.
He joined that group because, they had their own little army that met, just like the one that ends up developing later in the series, right? And I think he only showed up for Lily. But it was her love that made him not go 100% to Voldy.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, whether you're evil or good, sometimes it's not all intrinsic. Sometimes it's just all in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, no, it absolutely can be, for sure. But if you're talking about, like, flat out, we know this person is good or evil, I think there's some caveats to it.
We'll start to wrap this up. We'll end it on a lighter note. Why do you think that Hogwarts, like, when you first, whether you're reading it or you watch the movie for the first time, what makes it special? Like, why is it, like, why does everyone, all of us readers, why do we want to go there?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like, what makes it different than any other boarding school? Because I'm sure you and I have both read other books where people are shipped off to other boarding schools or colleges or universities.
And there's only been a handful that I've been like, ooh, I think I would love it. I would like it there.
Yeah. So what makes Hogwarts special?
The unknown. Like, there's so much hidden. There's so many secrets. And it's like the idea of, I think, because, they all show up when they're like 11. So it's the idea of, like, I'm going to make new friends and I'm going to become powerful and I am going to, I've heard all of these haunted tales from the, siblings or aunts or cousins or whatever that have gone before me. And I think it's, well, I mean, okay. Have you ever been, I don't think you've ever gone, you only ever stayed in your one school system, right?
I mean, I went to 2 different schools.
But you stayed within, like, you knew the same people the whole time?
No.
Oh, okay. So remember your first day at the new school where you were like, you were kind of excited because it was new and it was different or maybe you weren't excited. Maybe you were like,
I was not.
You're like, this fucking sucks. But I think it kind of falls into that. Kind of that, like, oh, we finally get to see what it's all about. Because if you think about it, people didn't just come visit Hogwarts. Everybody knew it was there. Everybody knew where it was. But there was kind of like this secrecy around it. Almost kind of like Skull and Bones secret society kind of thing.
I think part of it is also that you're going with people that also don't know what's going to happen. Like if you're equating it to me moving to a new school, I moved to a school where pretty much all of those people had been together since they were 3.
Yes.
I was going to see 100 people in my class that all knew each other from the time they were toddlers.
Oh, that sucks. So I'm sorry for you, because that's how, like, I did go to a different school at one point, and it was much, much bigger than, like, my school I graduated from and I was, like, originally from. So the town I was originally from and my graduating class was only 177. But for a few years, we went to the next town over, which is just right across the state line. And there, the class was like almost 300 and something. And so it was kind of the same thing. The good thing is they were so close to each other. Like, I knew people from both towns, but, like, I could understand that. Going somewhere where it's, like, so small and you feel like you're the outsider.
Yeah, so I think
everybody. Okay.
I think part of it was that all of these kids, they were all doing something new together.
Yeah. So the analogy I try to use doesn't compute for you, but for others, I would say maybe it's you started a new school or you started a new club or something that you'd only heard about but you'd never been a part of, and it was like you were so excited to start it, and you were also starting it with people that also wanted to be part of it, and then, like I said, the whole, like, even within, because if you think about it, when they're there, even the parents don't really come. There's not really Parents' Day or anything like that.
No, it's just the students and the staff.
So I think there's even inside the wizarding world, because, obviously Harry didn't grow up in it. But I think even inside that, there's a lot of secrecy to what it is. And I think there's something, as I don't want to use the word magical because it's a magic school, but I think there's something appealing to that. And I think there's something, I don't know, very intriguing, I guess is the word I would use.
Are there any other talking points you want to mention? Anything else that struck your fancy while you were reading it?
I will. This is an overall arcing for the series. So it's technically a children's book series, right? So I'll ask a dual-parted question to you, because you've actually asked me a lot of questions, and I've loved them all. But dual-parted here. It is a very popular children's book series. So, one, what do you think makes it so popular? And two, why do you think it is so popular not only with kids now, but adults as well? And I'm not saying just those of us that we grew up with it as kids and it ended with us as an adult, because I was an adult by the time the series finally ended. I remember going to midnight releases as an adult. Jerry, the first time Jerry had to go do it because I was at work. Another time I did it and Jerry stayed home with Caden, kind of thing, to finish off the series. So I'm not necessarily talking about adults that grew up with it, but adults that are finding it for the first time, kids that are finding it for the first time. Why do you think it is still continuously so popular?
I think it's simply the magical aspect is so fleshed out.
Okay.
From a kid's point of view, obviously you and I as adults, we can see plot holes and stuff like that.
Right.
But for kids, this is a very fleshed out whole new world for them. Mm-hmm. And it's probably their first foray into fantasy, because this is children's fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
And unless they've read the Warrior series or something like that, they probably haven't had a lot of fantasy, because a lot of kids' books they're not this type of fantasy.
Well, there's far more fantasy now. I read a lot as a child, but I feel like there's far more fantasy now than there was for me, for sure.
And I think that stems from Harry Potter.
Oh, probably.
Because Harry Potter was so popular, I think more people jumped on that genre. But I'm saying it was kind of a first of its kind type thing. Mm-hmm. We had never seen a kid go to a specific wizarding school before. That's kind of a new to literary concept. Okay. Because if you think about it, when you think about, quote, classic books, they don't involve magic.
Yeah.
So I think
that's unseen magic, and this time you can actually kind of see it, and you see the result of it. Because I'm thinking Chronicles of Narnia, there's clear magic, but it's it's unseen. It's it's there.
Yeah. This, you have someone who is realistically a human child learning everything for the first time along with the reader. Mm-hmm. I think that's what draws everyone in. Who is
also grown up in the world that we grew up in.
Yeah. So it's part escapism and just part it was new.
That's very true.
It's relatively new to the book world.
So why do you think it holds up, though? I'll add that to the question real quick. Why do you think
I think because it is so unique. I think that's part of it. There's not anything like this out there. There's not another Harry Potter. There's not another Voldemort. I guess you could kind of argue, like you said, that Dumbledore and Aslan could be kind of equated, but they're still vastly different.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because both Aslan and Dumbledore are kind of supposed to be the all-knowing figurehead in their respective worlds.
And I think the other vast difference is Chronicles of Narnia is actually very, very Christian when you get down into it. And yes. Clearly a book about wizards is not.
Well, the author, she proclaimed to be an atheist for forever until just a few years ago. I think she started, I don't know what she claims to be now, but I know she has spoken about her atheism
Mm-hmm.
in years past. So I think that kind of stems from that as well. Any other questions?
Trying to see if I could think of any. There were some really good ones on the sheet you gave me, but I guess my only question is, because we recently were told that they are redoing Harry Potter, and it will not be a movie series but a television series, so it can break the books down even further. How do you feel about that? Because I'm just going to say, I don't know how I feel.
I'm not particularly excited about it. I feel like the movies were so, like, they were monumental in what they did.
Mm-hmm.
Did they cover everything in the books? Absolutely not. But you can't in a movie. And for it to be done so soon, like, I feel like if they wanted to do something like this, they needed to wait another few decades.
Wait until, because my kids are having, well, he's probably not going to have any, but wait till my kid has kids kind of thing.
Yeah, where it's kind of removed, because it is still so popular. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a whole theme park dedicated to it that feature the movie people. They're currently building a new theme park dedicated to the movie people. So I feel like it's not the right time.
I'm with you. I don't want to say I'm hopefully optimistic, which is usually what I typically say when I find out something I like is being turned into another form of media. I'm going to be reserved. I will give it a chance. Absolutely. But I guess if it disappoints me, like, I can't be like, well, I'm so disappointed. Does that make sense? Like, I'm going to be, okay.
It'd be one thing if the general public hated the movies.
Right.
Like the Percy Jackson movies, they were so horrible and they were rejected by society.
I didn't hate them, but they definitely could have done them a lot better. I'll say that.
Exactly. And the TV show does it a lot better.
It does do it a lot better. And I loved the Harry Potter movies. Did they leave some things out? Yes. There's one whole movie where I got really angry in the theaters and Jerry kept going, shh, because of some of the things that they left out that were very important.
But see, they're still accepted by society. Exactly. Like, everyone is very happy with them.
It was still a very good movie. It was just things that really frustrated me.
And that's the thing, is that everyone was happy with the movies, and that's why I think it's not needed. It'd be, like I said, it'd be one thing if the movies were terrible and no one liked it. They're all beloved.
And I'm also very confused because, there are a large portion of people that don't want to support her in any capacity anymore. So I was like, if that's what everybody is saying, why are they then also doing this? Does that make sense to you? Like, it also seemed odd to me that the whole people screaming, like, don't support her are now making a movie of her work. TV show of her work. I was like, I'm confused.
In that instance, I feel like those are minority voices that just happen to be louder than the general consensus.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that they're the general consensus. I was just very confused because it has been kind of loud within that community. So I was like, okay, well, within the Harry Potter community. So I was just confused also. And then to me, it felt like a cash grab. Not from her, but from, like, the studio or whatever.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And I don't like that.
Oh, it absolutely is. I'm not denying that at all.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, normally when we talk about things like this, I say hopefully optimistic, but I think the word I can use is reserved. I don't.
I'm not excited.
Are you going to give it a shot, or are you going to ignore it?
I'll wait and see what other people say. I will not be one of the first ones to watch it. I'll put it that way.
I don't know if I can say that for sure. I may get like a wild hiccups. Oh my God. Okay.
She's dying, everyone.
No, I'm not dying. Oh, hiccups. I may get like a wild hair when it comes out and be like, I'm doing it. But like, I may not. That's how I feel about it.
Well, we'll transition now to our recent reads and acquisitions.
Do you have any?
I do. I have acquired 2 things. We are recording this the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so I went to the Barnes & Nobles for their Black Friday sale, and I picked up 2 books. I got Skyshade by Alex Aster. It is the 3rd book in the Lightlark series.
That's so funny. That's the one you're talking about.
And then I also picked up The Will of the Many by James Islington. It has been all over social media that it's like the next big thing. And I read the synopsis. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. Because he's a new author for me. I know he has written numerous other books. I've just never read any of them.
I don't think I've read anything from him either, to be honest with you.
And then let me pull up my Goodreads. Some of my recent reads that I want to mention. Oh, I did read The Spellshop because you talked about it so well. You did that for our Cozy Fantasy. Was that September or October? One of those. That was September. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars.
It's so good.
It's The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. You can go listen to Miranda's synopsis. You did a good job of not spoiling a whole lot.
I really don't like spoiling things. I accidentally spoiled something for somebody one time, and so then it was like a complete accident. So now I'm like, really. I like tell people, like, if you've listened to us before, you'll know I'll be like, spoilers, because I really don't like being the spoiler pants.
But it was good. I really liked it. And then I also read Funny Story by Emily Henry. I think that is my second favorite Emily Henry book now. My first favorite is Book Lovers.
I still haven't read any Emily Henry.
We're going to have to do an Emily Henry episode so I can get you to read one of them.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll try. You know I'll try. The problem is Miranda still has not accepted the DNF. I struggle. I can't.
She's a very light read. They're not difficult to get through. I think I read Funny Story in like 3 days.
Yes, but you read fast. Don't give me that. I mean, well, I'm looking at all the books that I read last month. I can't say nothing.
I was about to say, You can't say Bianca reads fast when you read like 30 books in a month now.
It wasn't 30. It was 13. And some of them were only 260 pages.
But those are the ones that I'm going to mention. Do you have any that you want to mention?
So I purchased, and I talked about this on TikTok already, but I bought the special edition of Lightlark by Alex Aster, which is book 1 to your book 3. It is beautiful.
All of her books are gorgeous. No matter what edition you get, they're going to be pretty.
Did you see this one? Did you see the video I posted for us?
Yeah.
Oh, the foil. And then I was trying real hard not to show everybody everything because like there are these like photos in the back of like Isla and they're just so beautiful. Oh, I love this. It's sprayed edges, which I am noticing something here. Obviously I can't read the Czech books, but I'm very jealous of all the Czech girlies because there are so many sprayed edges and beautiful books in this country.
I feel like it's gotten very, very popular.
But it's like everywhere. Like,
yeah,
there are just tables and tables and tables of books that you wouldn't even think had sprayed edges.
That's how it is over here now.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's not like a special edition thing anymore. Like books just come sprayed now.
What's funny is our English editions though. Like I walk over to the English edition and I'm like, oh, why are you not sprayed and decorative? This isn't fair. So I acquired that, purchased. I've already read that before. I probably will do a reread of that series just because it's been a while since I read that one. So, because I still haven't done book 2 and 3 is obviously out. So I may reread.
Oh, you haven't done 2?
No, I haven't done 2 yet. Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
So I bought that, and then I also bought Never Whistle at Night. It is an anthology. All of the authors are Native American, and it is an Indigenous dark fiction anthology. I loved it. So it's an acquisition, but also a read. I did both. It is fantastic. I don't know when it came out.
I saw you post that. I think it's this year. I think it came out this year.
But I had not heard of it. And then I started following a TikToker that shares, they were sharing different Indigenous books. And I was like, what is this you say? Horror short stories? It came September 2023. So it's been out for a year. And the cover is really cool. It's really cool. But I highly recommend this book. It has a foreword written by Stephen Graham Jones, who is a known horror author. He wrote I Was a Teenage Slasher. I know you've heard of. I don't think you've read anything of his, but I know you've heard of him. But I
saw you post it, and it was a pretty book.
Yeah, it is a pretty book. But the guy that writes the foreword for it is what I'm saying. I know you've never read any of Stephen Graham Jones's stuff, but I know you know who he is. So I highly recommend that. That was my acquisition. One of my other recent reads was The Poisons We Drink, which I kind of sort of talked about this a few months ago because I actually started reading it back when I first bought it, and then I laid it down, and then I'd pick it up again, and laid it down, and I'd pick it up again. And it wasn't because I didn't like it or that I was ooh, I may not finish this. For whatever reason, I was really struggling with reading paper books. That's legitimately all it was. It just came out in April 2024. I love this book so much. It's basically a country divided between humans and witches. And the main character, Venus, is a brewer. She makes illegal love potions to support her family. And it's the political system in this book is very fleshed out. The characters in this book are very fleshed out. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know what it is that kept me from giving it 5, but I highly recommend this book. I liked the concept of either you're a human or a witch, and the humans know that witches exist, but they don't particularly want to mix and mingle with them. It's a very divided world. And so that was quite fascinating. I really enjoyed that one. And then I actually didn't, believe it or not, I only read 4 books in November.
I didn't cover all of the books that I read. I just chose a couple.
No, I'm saying I actually only read 4. That's all I read this time. Okay. The other one, it was a reread, but I would encourage everyone to read this series as much as I can. It's technically All Souls Book 4, Times Convert Book 1, which is Times Convert from Deborah Harkness, which I know you started. Discovery of Witches was a reread, but you're continuing on the series, aren't you?
Yeah, I finished the second one.
Yeah. So
I wasn't going to bring it up, but yeah, I read the second one.
Okay. Well, no, I was just making sure where you were in the timeline of the books. So this is book 4. Loved it, even on reread. 5 stars. If you haven't picked up the series, I highly recommend it. So
I almost bought it because I own the first 3. I bought them used. I almost picked up that one at the Barnes & Noble sale, but I was like, no, I'll be good.
The good thing is I didn't pick any books up on any of the sales because one, I mean, we do have Black Friday sales over here. But what's funny is they don't do them specifically for like the Friday. It's usually like leading up to. So we have like Black Week or Black Days or like sometimes it's the whole month. But they want to get in on them sales that America does. They want that profit. So we also have Black Friday type sales over here as well. But I didn't really go anywhere. So no books were purchased.
Well, and if you want to see wrap-ups of every book that we read every month, Miranda does a fantastic job over on TikTok. She takes what we read, put our ratings on there, so go follow us on TikTok at Bells with Books Podcast. Mm-hmm. You can also find us on Instagram. We are Bells with Books Podcast there as well. Mm-hmm. You can follow me personally. I'm at Style and Freak both on Instagram and TikTok. And you can find Miranda. Type in Mom's a Nerd anywhere and she pops up basically. Mm-hmm. And what's going on in the Place to Be Nation world?
We, of course, have the Facebook group for those that would like to join. We did finish our cartoons tournament. And while I love this show, I wasn't happy with the outcome. But for those of you that want to know, it was awarded to The Simpsons because that's just how the voting went. Whatever. I'm not bitter about it at all. But please come join us so that you can take part in these little tournaments that we do and not make me upset because I feel like a lot of you would vote the way that I would in these tournaments. Just saying. We have, of course, the placetobenation.com website. I would love for people to go over there. We have a lot of articles. And if we add new shows, that's where you'll hear about it first. There may be a new feed coming to the family that is in the works. I am not doing it, but it will be part of our family of feeds. And so any information like that will be, of course, in the Facebook group and on the website. So please go and check them out.
Did I lose you?
Oh, there you are. Okay. I was like, man, she being real quiet. What'd I do?
You went in and out, and I was like, crap, I think we lost her again.
No, I'm here. What did you hear?
I don't know now. Technical difficulties are great.
Please stand by. Technical difficulties. And we're back. I'm going to summarize. Join the Facebook group. Okay. Read the website. Because if you didn't hear what I just said, I went on a whole, spiel. I'm not going to spiel again, so.
Sorry.
Maybe the people could actually hear me, and you just
Hopefully.
couldn't. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Before we started recording, y'all, we had some technical difficulties then as well. We were like, it's just a one-off thing. We'll be fine.
Like, the aliens are coming. Listen, I'm good with technology, but you cannot make this, it does what it wants. It does.
It has a mind of its own.
It does. Well, is there anything else that you would like the people to know?
No, just go follow us and don't forget to give us ideas of what you want to see in future episodes.
Absolutely. You can message us on Instagram or TikTok, either one. Whichever one of us will be glad to answer and pass the information to the other one. We're very glad for another year because this is December. So really quickly, I just want to say thank you for everyone who is still with us. Is this year number 3, B?
I think we're about to start number 3.
We're about to start number 3. So thank you so much for staying with us and being part of this. It has been such an amazing journey, and we loved every minute of it. Even when I annoy Bianca, she still loves every minute of this. So we're glad you're here. We're glad you're still listening. And I just want to say, whatever you celebrate, happy holidays, and always keep reading.